Deep within Long Island, the dark Sweet Hollow Road cuts through a heavily wooded, isolated stretch of Mount Misery. For decades, the sheer darkness of this geographic pocket has acted as a magnet for thrill seekers. They drive out here looking for Mary Hatchet. Depending on who you ask, Mary was either a teenage girl who slaughtered her entire family, or a deranged patient who escaped from an asylum hidden in the woods. The local residents have mapped her mythology to exact coordinates. Teenagers park at the Melville Cemetery in the dead of night, daring each other to stand before a gravestone, shine a flashlight, and say her names 3 times to summon her. But the town records reveal a complete historical vacuum. There was never a mental institution on Mount Misery. There is no police report of a fiery tragedy, no record of a local witch stoning, and 0 evidence of an axe-wielding girl named Mary. If none of these horrific events actually occurred, how did a quiet stretch of asphalt spawn a relentless slasher villain? We are witnessing the total displacement of local history, a process where true documented facts are systematically erased and then replaced by the gravity of a more sensational horror. It starts with the landscape itself. Sweet Hollow Road possesses what historians call historic provenance, an environment that genuinely looks and feels ancient. When a landscape looks old, we are instantly primed to believe that dark, old things happened there. The area is actually steeped in documented history. The American poet Walt Whitman was born right over the hill in West Hills in 1819. American presidents rode these exact paths. Theodore Roosevelt used to ride his horse through these woods to grab a drink at the nearby Peace and Plenty Inn. Yet, despite this well-documented lineage, a visitor is still left looking at narrow dirt roads framed by gnarled trees and colonial houses sitting in total isolation. This intersection of deep local roots and intense physical isolation creates a massive echo chamber for local gossip. A place must possess a genuine sense of the past before people will accept it as haunted. Authentic history provides the exact soil that folklore needs to take root. If we trace the Mary Hatchet myth backward through time, the slasher elements fall away. By the mid-20th century, locals knew her simply as the Lady in White, a classic phantom hitchhiker wandering the roadside. Go back further to the 19th century, and the ghost stories tether her tightly to the area's natural water features, specifically mountain mist springs. These early iterations were practical tools known as mommy lies, stories deliberately invented by parents to scare their children away from dangerous locations. On early Long Island, a natural spring was a genuine threat. Local predators like wolves used the exact same water sources as humans. A child playing near the water could easily become prey. Across ancient folklore and religious texts, the name Mary is consistently tied to sacred wells and dangerous springs as a protective archetype. Tell a child there are wolves at the spring, and they might go looking for them. Tell them a ghostly woman named Mary haunts the water, and they stay home. Early urban legends disguised essential survival mechanisms as supernatural threats. The transition from a protective spirit to an armed one required a specific historical catalyst. In the early 20th century, the Women's Christian Temperance Union used Sweet Hollow and Mount Misery as a staging ground for their anti-alcohol campaigns. These organizations often met in secret to avoid harassment while planning raids on local saloons. In an era where Mary was the most popular name in the census, the Mary Hatchet moniker became a widely understood shorthand for the axe-wielding activists who smashed barrels of the old demon alcohol to pieces. Directions to meetings at Mary Hatchet's house survived in local memory, even as the political context of the temperance movement began to dissolve and fade away. All that survived was a catchy name. By the late 20th century, thrill-seeking teenagers had severed the phrase from its political roots entirely, grafting it onto the rising slasher movie tropes of the 1970s. A political symbol for sobriety was violently reinterpreted by pop culture. Modern monsters are often just mundane historical misunderstandings. This animated timeline shows the evolutionary track of the myth. We start with a water guardian, morphing into a melancholy lady in white, adopting a forgotten temperance code name, and arriving at a modern slasher villain. Mary is a composite of distinct historical eras. The process exposes a vacuum effect tied to local geography. As the documented facts of a region fade from public memory, folklore rushes in to fill the empty space. The hauntings on Sweet Hollow are a form of cultural projection. We populate these empty stretches of forest with our own contemporary anxieties. Each new generation takes the framework of the old myth and updates it to reflect their specific cultural anxieties. Mary only appears in those woods because teenagers and ghost hunters continually drive out to the dark roads to summon her. Inventing monsters is a fundamental human reflex. As long as we crave the thrill of the unknown, we will manufacture ghosts to haunt our history.